Today's guest has had her pagan music streamed millions of times online. Stay tuned to hear all of the stories, discover the secrets, and the inspiration behind it all.
He's a Florida witch with something to say. Your friendly old sage with a teddy bear face. The Alexian Show. The magic's on its way. He's all set to play, so let's not delay. Welcome to Alexian Show.
Merry meet, everyone. My name is Alexian, and joining me today as my co-host is Kellianna.
Hello.
Kellianna's filling in for Draken, who had to work this weekend. Meh. We understand. We love you, Draken. I hope you're listening while you're working on the computer. Hey, before we even get started, I have a suggestion. Sometimes for me, it's hard to take in all of the material and content that I'm subscribed to online. And you happen to be subscribed to us, but find yourself not a lot of time to watch it. My suggestion is try listening while you're driving to work or home from work. Or if you're like me, listen in the shower. I actually consume so many YouTube videos and podcasts while I'm in the shower. It's crazy. Do you do that, Kellianna?
No.
No. Well, you're like riding around on a lawnmower half the day.
That's when I listen to stuff. Yes.
Yes. Kellianna actually has a couple of jobs, and one of hers is a greenskeeper at a golf course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What time do you get up?
I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
No, thank you, ma'am. No, thank you. That's you're even the roosters are like, WTF.
Yes, they are.
Starting
They get
that
strange
mower
looks.
at 3 a.m. What the hell? So anyway, this is our 9th show. I can't.
That is awesome.
Time is just flying, And as usual, I have some analytics to share. As of this morning, we have gained 1,214 new subscribers just in the last 28 days, bringing our total subscriber base to 6,784 subscribers. Wow. Now, I will admit there's a little bit of overlap from last show, because if you remember, last month's show in October was delayed by 2 weeks because Victor and I went on a 2-week vacation. So these numbers and last month's numbers are a little overlapped. So take that into account. If you're one of those mathematicians and you watched last month and you're watching this month and you're like, this doesn't add up, well, that's why. But interesting, I have some news. Our biggest collection of viewers has completely flipped. Are you ready for this? Brazil is now our #1 viewer as of the last 28 days, with 48.8% of views coming from Brazil, right? Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, with USA coming in second with only 24.8%. Wow. So I have to say it again. Hola, Brazil. How do you say it? Obrigado. Obrigado. Thank you so much. And again, UK is holding strong at 3rd place. So cheers to UK too. We love you all. Hey, where is everyone tuning in from today? If you are watching live, type in the YouTube comments right now where you're tuning in from, and we'll show it on the show. We're so thankful for all of you, and without your continued support, we could not make this possible. So, Kellianna, what have you been up to lately?
Well, I just got back from vacation last weekend. No, went to Florida, got to meet you and Victor and your coven, Twisted Oak, which, by the way, I would like to say they're very nice and very welcoming, so I appreciate
Oh.
that.
Well, it was wonderful having you here. For those that don't know, Galena is a private student of mine in Wicca, and she journeyed down and joined us for the Samhain weekend and got to experience her first full coven Samhain. So that was really special having her here for her first time.
Yes, that was amazing.
um, I've been playing catch up, to be honest. You know, whew, we had 1 week of beautiful nature and then 1 week of chaos in New York City. We were actually in a hotel in Times Square, and we were just 20,000 steps a day, just walking everywhere, going everywhere, seeing everything in 4.5 days as fast as we could. And then we got home, and then I've been playing catch up ever since. I did the show, and now I'm 2 weeks later, we're doing another show. And I am so thankful for that extra hour of sleep this morning. Yes, if you have forgot, it's fall back time. Set your clocks back 1 hour because we have finally went to standard time and got rid of that daylight savings time nonsense, which I wish they would just do away with. It really does disconnect us from nature, in my opinion, even more than we already are. And I have fond memories of, going to my piano lesson as a youngster, and getting out at 5 p.m. in Missouri, and it would be dark. It would be dark at 5 p.m. I liked that. It was like, oh, it's really winter time. So, and that's my opinion. What do you guys think? You think we should get rid of daylight savings time? Chime in the YouTube chats. And Galena, by the way, is covering the YouTube chat, and she will be answering you and showing your comments on the screen. Remember, this is an interactive show, and we will have a question and answer session at the end of the interview. So if you have questions for our guest, please type them into YouTube and we will share them and ask her live, right? And another thing, don't forget to hit the live button. Now that's a little, I think it's red. It's like the word live. You just click it. And that's right next to the volume control on YouTube. And the reason you want to do that is if you are watching live, you want to be in real time with us so that you don't miss your chance to win today's giveaway by sticking with us until the end. You can always catch the beginning of the show later, but you need to be live in order to roll for your chance to win the prizes at the end of the show. I also wanted to take a moment to congratulate again Anaya Jamal, who was October's winner of the Arcane Treasures giveaway. And she got all of her goodies via virtual, and she got my magnet in the mail, she told me, and everything. So she's real excited and thankful that she stuck to the end and rolled. And you could be a winner too. So just hang out with us. We've got a great show. Pagan musician Kellianna is with us today. And if you would want to be a guest on the show, or if you know somebody who would be perfect, just tell them to visit alexianmusic.com/guest to apply. That's alexianmusic.com/guest. There it is. Galena's showing it on the screen now. It's that easy. There's a little form there. You just fill it out, and that starts the ball rolling. Okay. And it is free. Somebody actually asked me, do you charge to be a guest on your show? And I'm like, no, of course not. I'm here to help promote you and your offerings. Speaking of which, how is the chat going, Galena? Did anybody say where they're from?
Yes. Hang on just a second. There we go. Dale Walters, Connecticut.
Hey, Dale.
That's the only one we have.
That's the only one so far. Okay. That's all right. It'll pick up. Hey, do you believe in karma, Galena?
Yes, I do.
I believe that our viewers can unlock a world of good vibes if they boost their karma points by hitting that like button. You see what I did there? Subscribe and ring the bell so that you get notified of our upcoming shows. And that's going to get you closer to winning that Arcane Treasures giveaway, karma. And while you're at it, be a helper and share the show with your like-minded friends on your socials and help us spread the word. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's get to the fun part. Let's bring on our guest.
It's time for Enchanted Verse.
I'm thrilled to introduce the enchanting Kellianna. Hailing from Western Massachusetts, Kellianna is an internationally acclaimed Neo-Celtic singer and songwriter. Her voice is nothing short of magical. Testify. Weaving powerful tales inspired by myth, magic, and the mysteries of sacred places and ancient times. With numerous albums under her belt, Kellianna's captivating performances have mesmerized audience worldwide. Join me as we explore the inspiration behind her enchanting creations. Everyone, please welcome Kellianna.
Merry meet, everyone.
Merry meet. I'm so excited. I told you earlier, but I'm like from the heart. Like, I love your voice. I could listen to you sing all day long.
Thank you. I love to sing, so it's a wonderful thing then.
You are blessed with a beautiful gift, and the drumming just that you do that just fills out the bottom, you got that beautiful ethereal voice on top and the drumming down below. We've used your music in circle in our coven, to be honest.
That's why I started doing it, really.
Yeah.
Is to for community,
Yeah.
ritual and gatherings. And then at some point my fans were like, when are you going to do a chant album? And I'm like, you want one? So I did my elemental CD specifically for people to be singing and sharing in ritual.
Yes. We need more of that. We need more. I don't know about you, but one of my pet peeves is when people will take like Christmas carols and then just change the words.
Make them pagan. Oh, no.
Me too.
No.
Yeah,
I
me
celebrate
too.
Christmas, but I love Christmas music. Do you know what I mean? And,
that's Christmas music. Enjoy it. That's what that is.
Write some Yule music.
Our own music. Exactly.
Write some Yule music. That's it.
Exactly. Oh, it's like one of my pet peeves.
I'm with you 100% on that.
People are so excited to share. Oh, listen to the song I just like saw or heard or wrote myself, and I'm like, just smiling and nodding, and all the while inside I'm like, no.
Yeah, well, some people love to do it, and if that's where they're at, then as long as their intention is true, let them.
It is, and that's why I smile and everything, and their heart is in the right place. So
of course, I hear you. But I'm with you because I love Christmas music so much. Even though I don't really celebrate the Christmas, but the music is like from your childhood. It's very much a part of your progression through life. It's really powerful, and I love singing it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, I have a Yuletide jazz quartet that is a cappella. Yeah. I haven't done it in years, but I've done it for many years. And we've been hired by even Disney World to come and sing, and different hotels and cities for their opening ceremonies and lighting.
One of my favorites to sing and play is the Little Drummer Boy. I love it. And I just sing it for myself. Every year I grab my drum and sing it. It's so beautiful. And what's more beautiful a melody than like Oh Holy Night? I mean, there's nothing more gorgeous than that. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So Victor and I have carried your music like forever, like from the beginning of our store. But I've never had a chance to sit down and talk with you. No. So this is like extra special to me. So let's dive in with what inspired you to get started creating music. You kind of already answered that, but elaborate.
I think I had started on my path, many years ago, much more than 20 years ago at this point, maybe close to 30 years ago. And I ended up meeting up with a community in central Massachusetts, and I just kind of organically started writing some, song and chant for ritual, that for gatherings that we were hosting, public gatherings and community gatherings. And I just kind of started doing it. And then in 2003, I went for the first time to Glastonbury, to the Goddess Conference in Glastonbury, England. I went with Shauna Carroll to perform her production Goddess Chant. And when I got there at the conference, I just saw all these women were singing and chanting to the goddess. And I was like, oh my God, people want to hear this? I was like, I have this music. So I went home from the Goddess Conference at the beginning of August 2003, and by October I was in the recording studio recording my Lady Moon album. I purged that thing. I recorded that thing in 28 days. I had it finished by February. I had a copy of it back to the Goddess Conference before New Year's, asking if I could perform the year later, and they had me headlining for the next year. So, and then the CD released in February of 2004. So this past February was the 20-year anniversary of Lady Moon.
Isn't that amazing how time flies?
Yeah. So I had the music put together, and I just recorded what I had already started with. And this CD and my career went international in a year by kind of pushing it through the Goddess Conference in Glastonbury. Women from all over the world were there, and they took it all over the world with them. And that was the illustrious beginning to my global career right there. It's instrumental in how far and wide my music traveled.
Not only talented, but yet smart too.
Well, Pisces, Virgo rising, Taurus moon, workhorse, organizing, and artistic.
You feel it, and then you know how to put it into the empire.
Very lucky in my chart, I'll tell you.
Well, I love the song Breed from this album. It's just so beautiful. And I actually went to Breed's Well in Ireland. That's a whole nother story. I love, of course, Aphrodite and Pan, because Pan's one of my two gods. I could never decide on one god. It's kind of a reflection of my life. But I have Pan and Thoth, but Pan is my dude. That's Mr. Fun.
That one I wrote for a processional for our community gathering for a midsummer circle that we had. Breed was written by a friend many years ago named Heidi Couture. She's the one who led that community in Central Mass, and that was a poem that she wrote. And she's like, take this poem, see if you can do something with it. And that's how that song came to be.
It was a match made in heaven. And then, of course, Stonehenge is my favorite on that album as well. Stonehenge, it just goes so deep in you.
It's one of the most powerful things I think I ever wrote. And it was written while I was in private ritual inside Stonehenge. It kind of was downloaded to me by the gods, and it is all about healing. It's letting go of that which does not serve you, and more specifically, it's letting go of the unseen things, the things you don't even know. Like something's preventing me from being able to make a choice or to move forward, and I can't see what it is. So, it was just kind of asking the goddess for some guidance, and I literally wrote that while I was in Stonehenge.
Oh, wow. Now, I did go to Stonehenge with Victor, which you'll see a picture of later in today's show, but we thought we were going crazy. Like, we were high is the best way to put it. We were high from the energy. We were so dumbfounded. The energy is palpable, like you can feel it in your fingertips coming off the stones. Yeah. Did you have that experience too?
Yeah, well, I'm usually barefoot, so I took my Birks off and I was walking around, and it was so much energy processing through my feet. I had to put my shoes back on.
Wow.
Just to try to delay it a little bit. I mean, there's millions of footsteps before you, and they're all there in that sacred place, and it's like overcharge. It's an overcharge, I think.
And there's ley lines. They cross there.
Yeah, I've been there.
Like a vortex.
in private circle probably 10 times.
I am not lucky enough to have experienced a ritual at Stonehenge, but I was lucky enough to visit it. And even just walking through it, we were just, our mouths were open, and we have video of us, and we're just like,
One time we went there, one of the times I went there with a group, and we had, you can apply for private access, like for the 3 hours before they open, and then the 3 hours after they close. You have to apply and be accepted and approved. So there was one time we went with a group, and we were walking up, and it was completely, like the Salisbury Plain was completely covered in mist. So you're walking up towards the stones, but you can't see anything, and then you kind of go over this little rise, and all of a sudden you're like, what's that? You could see these kind of shadows sticking out of the mist, and it was the circle. It was absolutely the most stunning thing I have ever seen. The most mysterious and just like transporting. And then we went in there, the mist was still there, and as the sun started rising, the mist started kind of fading down. But I'll tell you what, it just took us right between time and place. You weren't even in mundania anymore. You were definitely in the realm of magic, and that space was just astonishing.
You really feel like you just went into another dimension.
It is. It's the space between spaces. It's a time between time. It's a place between places. I mean, that's where the magic happens. That's it. That's the place.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I was just stepped right into it.
Yeah. It's so palpable. Anyway. Well, I would love to talk about that because this album is amazing, but we have many more albums to go through. So let's talk about
Look at this picture. This was I went to Stonehenge with my friends the first time, and you see how the sun's up above my head? I was with the artist and my best friend and her sister, and she took a picture of me as the sun rose, and it was sitting on top of my head. So we looked at the pictures later, and Donna Horn, who did the painting, she goes, "This is the album cover. I'm going to paint you a painting for this." And this is actually the picture she took of me in the Stones that she painted for my cover.
Cool.
It was it was a different trip, but yeah, the first trip.
That's so cool. I want to draw people's attention to something too. We'll talk about it in a minute, but look how long her hair is in this album cover. Look how long her hair is in this album cover. Just keep that in mind as we go forward. But yes, on I Walk the Goddess, of course, I love the song I Walk the Goddess. I walk with the goddess, I mean. And it's so joyful and uplifting and reaffirming,
A friend, I was actually involved in that community, and we were having like a meeting, and it was just, I think it was the High Priestess from Hell Day or whatever. And my friend Leandra and I were running outside to smoke cigarettes to like get a break from the energy. And Leandra said to me, she goes, "I've never written anything in my life except I walk with the goddess walks with me." I go, "That's pretty good." So on the way home, I ended up writing, everything else. And I came back and sang it to her. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you have to record that." So that was a collaboration with my good friend Leandra Walker.
Amazing. And then there's my other two favorites are Ancestors Song and Blessed Are We. Yeah.
Ancestors Song, I actually wrote that. It was supposed to be, it was a spring, and I was driving home in the absolute pouring rain, and I was going to try to write some, positive spring song, but it turned out to be, what I ended up writing was I was thinking about who was the first of our ancestors who dug a little hole in the ground, put a seed in there, covered it with earth, watered it, for the purpose of sustaining, and, for food. I was thinking of like that first ancestor, whoever that was. That's who it ended up kind of being written about. And then it was just an honoring of generations of women and all their teachings down the line is what it turned out to be. Super powerful. I just gave myself goosebumps just describing it, to be honest with you. And Blessed Are We, that was amazing. I was on a trip with my husband to China, and I've never been so jet lagged in my entire life. We were at the Qigong Institute of Beijing, and I couldn't sleep. I had been up for like 20 hours. So I did the honey, you up? Honey, you up? And I woke him up and made him walk around the courtyard with me. And there were chimes out in the courtyard going. And when I laid back down, that was downloaded directly into my head. And I couldn't sleep. I got up, I wrote it down in my journal. I fell asleep for about 10 hours. I found that writing like 6 months later. And I was in the studio, so I just recorded it. And it is the most amazing, dreamy, just like incredibly, I don't even know. It was really a cosmic download in my brain. And I thank the gods for that one. They just gave it to me, hook, line, and sinker.
You got to love it when that happens. There are times when your muse whispers to you, and there's times they scream at you, and then there's times when you just kind of blank over and the gods speak.
Freya took me 2.5 years to write. She did not give up her story easily. She made me work for it, where other ones just download into my head, and all I have to do is put them on the paper. Warrior Queen was like that. The whole story came to me in a millisecond. I just had to write it down.
Yeah. Listen to the Wind. My song "Listen to the Wind" came to me like that. Just there.
Download. Cosmic download.
So, and then of course, I'm gonna skip forward here. We have Elemental from 2010, right? Long Hair.
That's a collection of song and chant.
Yeah, that's your chant album, right?
It's all chant. Yeah, drum and chant, really, for ritual specifically. I had some great friends who had awesome chants that I recorded on this. They gave me permission to do my versions of them, and it's just a great compilation of amazing music.
And then we have the Ancient Ones from 2012.
I love that album.
Another beautiful cover, too.
My friend Sula drew that for me. Yeah, another one. And the other one that you passed by was my friend Melissa painted that for me. I've always commissioned women friends who are artists of mine to do my covers for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and on the original stuff, yeah.
And then we have Traditions. I love this photo. Long hair, beautiful dress. And then we have Fairy Love Songs.
That's
or Fairies Love Song.
That's me with Jenna Green. That's just a duo album of kind of Irish and Scottish traditionals, just vocals, harmonies, and harp. That's pretty much all it is.
I have a question. Why Lady Moon on the cover?
Because that's what we called our duo. Because Jenna has a song called Lady Moon, and I have a song called Lady Moon.
Yes.
So we decided to call our duo Lady Moon.
You have an album called Lady Moon.
Well, that's our duo name. The name of the album is Fairy's Love Song.
Now it makes sense.
It confused everybody. We had to stick our names in there so people knew what was going on.
And that's from 2019. Yeah. And then I saw that on your website you had a couple of singles.
Yeah, that's from, I think, from Voice of the Goddess. That was a compilation I did with some people down in Virginia. We each did a few songs to the goddess there. And then I was also on a compilation called The Green Album that I wrote a song for the earth. Sing for the Day, which is a really awesome song too. So yeah, so if you go to my website, there's all kinds of juicy tidbits there because you can download just a single right from my website. So
we're going to talk about that. Sing for the Day
is a super fun song. I really enjoyed doing that project.
So let's dig in a little deeper. What's a pivotal moment that you would say in your life that shaped who you are today?
That would be that first trip to Glastonbury when I went there with Shauna Carroll. And the pivotal moment was that hour in Stonehenge. I was just exhausted. I was playing with a band. It was like dragging around a boat anchor. I've always been very driven. I've always known what I was capable of. I was being held back, playing for $100 and free beer at the bars,
That's a job. Yeah.
And I wanted to change and I didn't know couldn't see my way forward. So that's why I was begging the goddess for guidance in that Stonehenge hour, and breaking the chains that bind. I'm like, I'm being held back and I need to just break free to just do what I know I'm capable of doing and what I see myself doing that was the pivotal hour right there. And then that whole trip to Glastonbury, that spiritual journey with the Goddess Conference. But Stonehenge, that did it. That changed everything for me.
She answered you.
Oh yeah, she ever did.
Yeah,
And I'm so grateful. And then I was already a musician professionally. I just married my music and my spirituality. And, you know, I took all my business knowledge and all my creativity and I just focused it right there. And that was where it all happened for me.
You became whole.
I did.
Instead
Absolutely.
of parts.
Fulfilled.
Yeah.
Fulfilled, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So I know you all are really intrigued by listening in. If you do have questions for Kellianna, don't forget to type them into the YouTube chat. And at the end of the interview, we will ask your questions of Kellianna. Okay. But go ahead. Let's get a little silly now. Tell us about this silly Amazon review you received about one of your chants.
Oh, yeah. I was kind of going through one time and looking at some of the reviews of the album, and there was there's this comment on my I Walk with the Goddess song chant, and it said, I love this traditional pagan chant, but I think I like Kellianna's version the best. And I just cracked up. I said, well, thank you, but I actually wrote this, you know. And the fact that you think it's a traditional just really thrills me. Thank you so very much for that. So,
That
yeah, I wrote it. Thank you.
That brought it full circle right there, didn't it?
Thank you for that.
That's awesome.
That chant is ingrained in ritual all over the world. I get messages from people everywhere that are singing it. I've heard it sung in probably 8 languages.
Wow.
I was playing a goddess conference in northern Sweden, and they picked me up from the train station, and I went to walk into the place where this woman was having it, and there were about 40 Swedish people there singing it to me in Swedish as a procession as I walked in. It was absolutely stunning. And then my friends in Italy have sung it to me in Italian. I've heard it in Spanish. I had a woman sing it to me in Japanese. I mean, it is really, and Dutch, I've heard it. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Amazing. Wow, that's a blessing right there. Mm-hmm. Well, the title of our episode is Enchanted Souls and Noisy Poles. So I'm sure everybody is wondering, what the hell is the noisy pole about? So you guys are going to love this story. Here we go.
We're going to put this one right into the you can't make this shit up file. Everybody has one, right? This one's mine. So I was doing this really bogus, supposedly women's empowerment conference out near Boston. It wasn't anything I really usually do, but this woman just kind of roped me into doing it. So there was a small stage set up in like a hotel conference room, you know the way. And there was
what were you doing?
I do not want to denigrate the wonderful occupation of pole dancers, okay? At all, in any way, okay? But there was a stripper pole set up next to the stage, okay? And this lovely girl was giving lessons and this and that. So I'm on stage and I'm going to sing Stonehenge, my most sacred and personal chant that there is, which, you know, is just my voice, no music, no nothing, maybe a drum. And she was dancing on the pole to it. So here I am up there, and all I can hear is like the squeak of her thighs on the stripper pole as I'm trying to sing my song. And I look over, and all I can see was like bruised thighs, and I was just like, this is just like so wrong on so many levels for me, you know? But yeah, that's a true story.
That's the gods. That's Loki right there, you know, saying, don't take yourself so seriously.
You need to be humbled, woman. So here you go. This is just going to bring you right back down to earth right here, right now.
It reminds me of when I was the organist for the Baptist church. I was raised Baptist, and I was the church organist from 14 to 18. And I was probably 16, 17. I was driving by then. and it was time for the altar call. The biz. And I'm playing just as, what is it, just as you are. And I'm playing, and I'm all like, being spiritual and everything. And my hymnal book falls off of the organ and hits the keyboard. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm like grabbing it like it's a wild animal let loose, and it's bouncing because the keys are spring loaded, right? And I finally get a hold of it, and I'm like this, and the preacher's looking at me like, well, and the whole congregation's like this. And then everybody, the entire congregation just went, "Pwah!"
Yeah,
Almost
awesome.
for that. So he like nixed the altar call and went on to like get on with the day and
Oh my gosh,
go with
that's
you.
so funny. Yeah, it was one of those moments. Brings you right down to earth, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Hey, what's a talent or hobby that you have that might surprise people?
A talent or hobby? I like to refinish furniture. I've just taken it up now that I'm restoring a 100-year-old farmhouse, and I'm picking up antiques and things. But one thing that people might not know about a talent for me was that when I was in my 20s and I was, playing music and I had to have a job, I was a bicycle mechanic for like 5 years.
Now, see, I would have never guessed that.
I worked on mountain bikes, and I did competitive mountain biking, and yeah.
Wow, how cool is that?
I was always chasing the guys around on BMX bikes as kids, I was the only girl out there. So when it came down to like being a woman and mountain biking, I was pretty good at it because I was usually chasing my brother and his buddies around. So, but yeah, I was bike mechanic for like 5 years. So.
I love asking these questions because you never know what's going to come out of people's mouths. Are you familiar with Ginger Ackley?
Yes.
She was a guest on the show here, and she's got that whole grandma thing going on with the auto harp and everything.
Yeah.
When I asked her the question, she's like, "Oh, I was a sharpshooter for the ROTC," and I'm like, "What?"
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And she said, "Yeah, I beat all the men, like all the guys, I beat them all."
Women make great sharpshooters because we have like a level of calm that can be reached very well. So I'm told.
It's so cool. So what's your favorite way to disconnect and unwind? What do you do to relax?
Oh. Yeah, well, I'm a big proponent of Netflix. I like to sit down and like watch mindless things sometimes, but I also absolutely adore gardening. Mm-hmm. I worked in a greenhouse in the Springs for 20 years. I ran a greenhouse for a family business down the way from me. So I love to get my hands in the earth. I love to plant vegetables and flowers, and so I'm pretty much an avid gardener.
Not all, but most witches are.
Yeah.
Started
young with me. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother gardening growing up.
Oh, that's special memories.
So it was always very much a part of my rhythm and my life, So I continue. I was sad I couldn't plant a garden this year. I have a beautiful garden at my new house. I had a beautiful garden in my old house, but we started packing up in like May, so there was no planting anything for this season. Yeah. But believe me, we are going to be definitely pimping out my garden back there and having a beautiful vegetable garden and flowers everywhere this year. It's going to be lovely. Next year, I should say.
So speaking of nature, I heard you had an interesting nature spirit experience.
I did. Actually, it was probably 1994. I was going through a divorce. And, as much as I wanted out of the marriage, I was in my mid-20s. I couldn't get out fast enough. Let me just say like that. But it still was really a hard time. And I was at a gig, and I had a friend of mine. We used to play pub gigs. We'd be your duo in the corner at the pub, and we did it for 10 years. So I was at one of those gigs. It was super hot. It was in the summer. And I remember sitting on the hood of my Jeep in the back parking lot of the pub we were playing at, and it was blisteringly hot. And I was just like, distraught and hot and upset. And I was just like, oh, please, please, Goddess, give me some relief. I need some relief. And as I'm sitting there, this like whirlwind at the end of the parking lot, a good like 40 feet away from me, just started spinning like this, picking up leaves, and just kind of came right my way. And I was sitting on the hood of my Jeep, and the thing literally just swirled right around me and just went off. And it was just like, I just was like, thank you. You know what I mean? It was just absolutely astonishing. Really incredible.
I have actually had that experience on the farm growing up. Yeah. That is so
amazing.
Special. It
was amazing. It was amazing.
The air elementals just heard you and answered.
It was, validation for sure. Yeah, pretty powerful.
Wow. So, we've been talking about your musical career and how it manifested. What motivates you to just keep pushing forward with your pagan music?
Well, COVID pretty much really stalled me. But I'll tell you what, I didn't know until I stopped touring heavy that I was burned out. And the best thing I could have ever done for myself was stop. Because when it happened, when COVID hit, I was 52 years old. And I've been pushing hard at music since I was 20. So it had been over 30 years of constant pushing and self-promotion and touring and performing and traveling. And I just had no idea how exhausted and burned out I was until COVID hit. And I had to sit still for a year or 4. And I was so happy to jump off the hamster wheel. I have to be totally honest with you.
Yeah.
So happy to jump off. And now 4 years later, almost going on 5 years later, I'm really, now that we've got this place, this beautiful land and this house where I could have classes, I could do concerts, I could have mini festivals. I'm really starting to find my way back. And what I miss the most is really the vocal healing work and circle work that I used to do with women, and empowerment and reclaiming your voice and just working with your inner warrior, just those kind of workings. I miss them the most. So I really want to get back into working with women and singing with women. And if I never, the Goddess Conference invited me back for next year. They wanted me back for next summer. And I asked them if we could delay that till 2026. And I would make a plan to go back to England. So if anybody wants to go to the Goddess Conference 2026, let me know. We're going to be going. We're going to Southern England. So I'm ready to get back into it.
Very cool. Well, let's dive into your lyrics. You've prepared 2 songs to recite to us today. What's the first one going to be?
The first one is called The Mother Shares Her Love, and that was written for Lamas. And I had been at the Goddess Conference. I was actually, after the conference, I got a room at the Chalice Well Gardens, and I was staying there for several days. And it was, at the end of the day, it started pouring rain. As English would say, it was positively pissing. So it was pouring rain. So everybody left right before closing, and I was staying there. So I was on this little covered little bench with my journal and just watching everybody go. And as soon as the people left, and I was sitting at the wellhead at the Chalice Well, and as soon as they left, a bunch of birds just came out from the trees and started bathing and splashing in the little puddles of water around the wellhead. It was so magical. So I wrote this harvest chant called The Mother Shares Her Love. And I guess a lot of people use it as a food blessing, which sounds like it would really work out really well.
Oh, yeah.
But I wrote it as a gratitude to the harvest. So the lyrics are this.
Okay, take it away.
The mother shares her love in the falling rain. The mother shares her love in the corn and grain. The mother shares her love in the warm hearth fire. The mother shares her love in the breeze that flies. Great Mother, may we share with you our gift of song. We raise our voices joyfully, we raise them strong. O Mother, we are grateful for all you do, and we have come together now in praise of you. Repeat.
I can totally see how that would be used as a food blessing. At the feast. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. And you have another?
Yeah, but I don't know if I got all the lyrics to it, so I might not have to we might have to skip over that one
Uh-oh.
because I had them printed out, but I don't have them here, so I don't know where they're at. Let me see if I
Isn't
can bring them up.
it funny how like you write the songs and then you like
Well,
promptly
and you
forget
can't
what
remember the
they
word.
are?
Let me see if I can bring them up on my Bandcamp. I might have them right here. Let's see. Lyrics. Here we go. Got it.
Okay.
This was written from my friend Evelyn. I called her Evelyn of the Mist, and she was from Holland, and she bravely fought breast cancer and, lost her battle. So it's very Samhain-y, and I miss her terribly. And I wrote this for her. Actually, I wrote this. They asked me to write this so that they could play it while they were literally putting her body into the cremation fire.
Mm.
And I went and I recorded it that day, and I had it to Holland like the next morning so that they could do it. I called my engineers, like, get in here right now, we'll do it.
Wow.
So this is called To the Summerlands. And I wrote it about her soul, traveling from Europe to Glastonbury, where we would meet like every other year. She soars west across the water, over the city and the plain. Like a bird so free, she is flying to where the mists do call her name. Cross sea and land she soars, over ancient stones, to the Summerlands returning. To where her heart found home, she does freely soar on one final journey. You will find her in the waters, rain, mist, and spring, both red and white. In the river Brew she is winding, among the fields all bathed in light. Cross sea and land she soars, over ancient stones, to the Summerlands returning. To where her heart found home, she does freely soar on one final journey. In the breeze you'll hear her laughing, a joyful sounding through the land. Over Chalice Hill she's dancing, around the Tor she rides the winds. To the Summerlands returning, she is coming home again, like a bird so free she is flying, to where the mists do call her name. Cross sea and land she soars, over ancient stones, to the Summerlands returning. To where her heart found home, she does freely soar on one final journey.
Beautiful. So I heard you say to revisit. Do you go back and commune with her over there?
Every time.
That's awesome.
Because they would have this kind of like this healing thing on Friday nights, and I didn't always like to participate on the Friday night because I'd been working at the conference all week. So usually she and I would get like a couple bottles of elderberry wine, and we would go up to the Tor and drink them and just laugh. And so lots of times I'll go up and have a drink with Evelyn while I'm up there on a Friday night.
That's beautiful. I love it. And I'm sure she loves it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Wow. I'm mesmerized. So I have to do my business now.
Okay. Can I give a shout out to Draken, who couldn't be here?
Yes,
Draken,
absolutely.
I wish that I could have met you, so I hope you're not working too hard.
Yeah, she loves your music too. Absolutely. She must have emailed you or something. Okay. So Kellianna is actually donating a I Walk with the Goddess. I keep forgetting the word with. I Walk with the Goddess as a digital album download in the Arcane Treasures giveaway at the end of the show. So don't go away. You might be the winner. And where can viewers find and purchase your music and other offerings?
Kellianna.com. And I have a Bandcamp. Yeah, you can get it at any of your streaming platforms. Absolutely anywhere you stream music, the music is available that way too. Download on Amazon. If you still buy CDs, I've got CDs. If you want like downloads, those are available on my website too.
Have you ever had somebody come to one of your concerts and just come up to you and be like, "Oh my God, you're amazing," and they pick up a CD, and you're thinking, okay, they're going to buy a CD. That's cool. And then they go, "This is what I want." And they put it back down and say, "Are you on Spotify?"
I mean, forever. I mean, all the time now. It's just the way it always goes.
It's just crazy. Just so everybody knows, I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. Millions of streams is amazing, right? But most of us don't get millions of streams, and it's what is it? Point zero
Point zero
zero
zero zero
three.
zero 325 cents or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
per stream. So
Yeah.
it's pennies. By the time the powers that be take their cut, you get $10 in the mail, maybe 20 if you're lucky, you know.
Yeah. I make
So
bank on royalties. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful. All my hard work paid off for my retirement someday.
yes,
I paid my
absolutely.
college off from royalties. I paid my car
It's
off with
amazing.
royalties. You know? Yeah.
So it can happen, and you are proof of it. You inspire us all. You really do.
Thank you.
What advice, speaking of which, what advice would you give to someone aspiring to follow in your musical footsteps? Virgo, Capricorn. What do we do?
You just have to follow your heart and don't let other people tell you it can't be done. Everybody be like, oh, that's a hard life. That's a hard life. And I never had so much joy. I mean, I played in 13 countries on 3 continents. I played from Tasmania to Alberta, and had I ever listened to anyone tell me how hard that was, I would have never attempted that kind of stuff. I found more joy, more connection, more self-fulfillment in my, modest music career than I ever did in any office job I've ever worked in.
That's
So
right.
you follow your heart. If you can see yourself doing it, then you can do it. And there's nothing that can stop you.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Don't sit around waiting for shit to happen. All you do is wait. Shit does not happen. You make it happen. You take yourself where you need to go. You put yourself in the situations that will help you, and don't wait for anything. You might get lucky, but I ain't seen it. Not in my lifetime.
Yeah. Magic sets up the opportunity, but it's still your responsibility to act.
Exactly. You have to take the right steps. You have to be on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
You have to believe you can do it.
Perfect advice. Perfect. I couldn't agree more wholeheartedly. So let's talk about your books. Speaking of other things you're doing.
Very dear to my heart is my fantasy fiction trilogy. If you have ever heard my Lady Moon album, there's a song on there called The Warrior Queen. And it's about a queen who dies on the battlefield. And I'm basically begin the story at her death. She's watching as the men prepare her body to bring her home to burn her in her funeral pyre. And she's kind of narrating what's happening. So I had played the song for my mom before I even recorded it. She's like, I love it. What's the story? I go, Mom, that's the story. She's died, and she's like, no, that's the story of her death. I want to know the story of her life. So I think I thought about it for 10 years. And I met this woman, Kali Cargill, at the Australian Goddess Conference. I was on tour with Wendy Rule for a month. We played at the Goddess Conference in Sydney, and I met Kali Cargill there. She was an authoress who had a book called The Daughters of Time, which I loved. And then the next summer, and we really connected in Sydney. And the next summer, I walk into the Goddess Conference in Glastonbury to set up my vending table. And whose table's right next to me? Kali Cargill. So we started chatting, and I told her about this trilogy I had in mind for the Warrior Queen. She knew the song. She loved the song. And the next day, after we spoke about it, it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. We walked up to each other in the morning and just looked at each other and just started nodding at each other. And we literally sat down and we started outlining the book. So we've got book 1 and book 2 completed, and we're working on book 3. So this is the story of the Warrior Queen's life, and it is very much a story about a woman or a young girl finding her power and learning how to dance gracefully with that power, and how not to harm herself, how not to harm others, how to use it for good. And it's a story for every woman who's ever discovered their power at some age. And it's a fantastic story, and I cannot wait to finish the 3rd book.
Amazing. Again, amazing.
And I do have, this is the Warrior Queen Chronicles of the books, and I do have the Warrior Queen Chronicles website too that also has the books, and you can find them on Kellianna.com, but there is a dedicated website warriorqueenchronicles.com also. But the books are really exciting. And this book, I had to write a short story in college. I went to college during COVID and got an associate degree in accounting so that I could find a stay-at-home job, which I am now. We're doing accounting for a property owner.
You
One
can
of the
also do
courses,
that online on the road too.
well, absolutely, I work from home. So I had a creative writing class, and I had to write a short story. So I started writing a story called Coming of Age in the Time of Dragons. And it was supposed to be like 10 pages. So I wrote 10 pages, and then the class had to kind of read it and do like a peer review. And every one of my classmates and my teacher was like, "What's the story? Why did you stop?" I'm like, "Well, you told me it could only be 10 pages. I said, it's the first chapter of my next book." They're like, "We have to have the book." So I'm actually tying my new book series into the Warrior Queen Chronicles. So this is going to be kind of an offshoot from the Warrior Queen Chronicles. It'll be another trilogy of books at some point, I think. Yeah, it happens that way. The story has a life of its own. It tells me.
Sure.
The story's telling me. I'm not telling the story.
Yeah. When I write my songs, I see videos in my head, and I just write about the video. That's how I write songs.
So the books are exciting, and if I wasn't so busy moving and restoring a house, I'd be working on the book right now. But winter is coming, and it is my absolute priority to dive deep into our warrior queen's name is Liana, and Kali came up with that. She's like, "What's her name?" I said, "She doesn't have a name. The first words of the song are, 'I cannot remember my name as I lay on the battlefield and hear the war drums.'" So I said that she never had a name. She couldn't remember her name. So Kali's like, "We have to pick a name. It's going to be Liana."
Liana.
So very psyched about the books. Very passionate about it. Yeah.
Now let's talk about your restoring of your house. This is a big part of your life right now.
It's huge. It's beautiful. I am 56 years old. I have never owned a home. It's something one thing I had to trade off when I chose to do a music career was, not being able to afford to buy myself a house. But during COVID, when I got my great accounting job, I started making a ton of money and started saving a ton of money because there was nothing to spend it on during COVID, right? And then my husband and I were looking for 4 years. And we had gotten very discouraged because we live in Massachusetts, besides like California, it's one of the most expensive places to buy a house.
Yeah.
But we had given up pretty much. And the day after we gave up, our realtor sent us a listing for this 100-year-old farmhouse that was an amazing price that needed, some love. And when we got here, we saw the land, the grounds, it's perfect. It's perfect for us. So we decided we'd take it on and do, the siding and the roof and the interior remodels that we need to do. And we're exhausted because he's 64. I'm 56. It's not like we're kids anymore, but we're really loving making it our own. And by next year, it's just going to be absolutely amazing. It's a beautiful
Magical
place. Yeah, it's there's even an ancestor grove here. The guy built a circle of trees out there, and I call it the ancestor grove. And it is it's like right there. There's literally a circle of trees. So if you want to have a ceremony or ritual, it's like right there.
Oh my goodness.
And we have like an amphitheater in the back where Wendy Rule's coming out, I think in June next year. And she and I are going to do a house concert right here in my amphitheater backyard.
Oh man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be amazing.
Amazing.
So yeah, that's a lot of it. And refinishing furniture, like finding antiques and doing some touch up and love on them. I found like a turn of the century white sewing machine table that I'm going to do for my bathroom vanity for a remodel. And just like my husband and I went antiquing. We spent the day. We had such a blast. So, and we're doing great. Usually people get into these situations and they're ready to kill each other, but we're in it together, strong. After 20 years, we're on a pretty good place with this whole project.
It sounds like you're both creative.
Yeah. He's an herbalist. He's of the land, too. And plant medicine is his thing. And this property is just beautiful. It has the outbuildings we need for his business, his herbal business, and his school. It has a higher cultivated field where he can move all his herbal gardens that are at a cooperative farm. We're moving the entire Clear Path Herbal Gardens to our home next year. Yeah, it's the perfect place.
It's going to be a magical place.
Yeah, it's perfect.
A little witch house.
Oh yeah, it's adorable. I love it. Beautiful 100-year-old house. Really good bones, you know. Thank you for asking. It's obviously pretty all-encompassing right now.
Well, I mean, like we have the run-of-the-mill. I mean, Galena can tell you we have the run-of-the-mill Florida house, but the moment you enter the door,
it's magic inside.
It's magic.
I moved my mom out of Florida last year when my dad died. My dad died in August last year, so I moved my mom back to Massachusetts. She wanted to be here so bad, so we got her here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Hey, what year was this photo taken?
Probably 2014.
Oh, so it's not new.
No.
But you have your hair up, so it kind of looked like you had short hair. That's why.
Nah, but all my hair is in this little comb right here.
But
it's
you
still
you still have long hair.
I still have tons of hair. Don't worry, it hasn't gone anywhere. I just have it rolled up on top of my head because I was painting before we did our show. And I was like, oh gosh, I gotta just throw my hair. Yeah, I was painting, so it's all still here. It's just wrapped up in these. Same thing with that picture. I have 2 buns and it's all a ton of hair in there.
So you had mentioned to me that you had the intent of rededication to the goddess path. You want to elaborate a little bit on that?
Since we moved, I got really out of touch because I was always a solitary, other than the very beginning when I had a little, coven experience of 3, which kind of threw me off of covens forever and made me very much solitary. But I always was in different communities all over the world. So I just go in and I do ceremony ritual with, a couple people or hundreds of people.
Sure.
And then again, once COVID hit, and it was such a drastic change, even my connection to my spirit was just stifled, in my own practice just was completely just stifled. I didn't have it in me to even to do my worship. And so now that we're here at the land, I have my grove and this amazing house. I'm really gonna want to do a rededication, and I'm not sure when exactly I will do that, but
I just had a flash, and when I have flashes, I have to share. So I just had a vision of you under a full moon with your husband dedicating the property to the path of the goddess, and at the same time you were rededicating yourself to the goddess's path. And it was a gorgeous spring evening under a full moon.
Well, that's nice. That's probably, see, I'm an Imbolc girl. I love Imbolc, so, but I'm thinking, I don't know, Yule maybe. See, we got together at Yule 19 years ago. So
nice.
Yule will be our 19th year together, and that might be the perfect time for us to kind of do something like that. Just declare the land. I mean, we're amazing stewards for this land, and that's why the sellers sold it to us, because there were other bids higher than ours, but their realtor said these 2 are going to take care of that place. They love the land, and they are going to be stewards, and they're going to love it as much as you people did. And that's why they sold us the property, because of our connection to the land itself. Yeah.
I completely understand from the other side of the coin. I just sold the farm I was raised on in Missouri.
Yeah. It was hard. Yeah, I bet.
Very hard to do, but we were looking for the right people, and it's very important.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, that's what they said. Wow. We were the perfect people, and we knew it was ours as soon as we walked in here.
That's amazing. Yeah. So last question. And by the way, are you typing your questions into YouTube because it's your turn next? How do you envision the next chapter of your life?
I have some unfinished songs. My recording engineer and I have become like the best of friends over the last 20 something years. It started even earlier. And we talked a couple weeks ago. I have some unfinished songs, and I would love to see them finished and do another album. And I also am just really into getting this third book out, getting his third book finished. So the songs I have a Song of Odin that I've started writing. I have a song called The Seer that I've started writing. And then I have Idun's Garden. So for me, it's like I love Norse mythology, I love Celtic mythology, love Native. I mean, I have all this ancestry in me, and I've never been a purist. I've always just written whatever comes to me to honor whatever god or goddess there is. I mean, we have to tell these stories. This is how we keep the gods alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a purist. I'm not a traditionalist. So I will write from any tradition, whatever story speaks to me. And I'm going to hold on to that forever, because that's true to me. That is how raw and real it is for me. So, yeah, so I have several that are in process, varying levels of process, that I would love to finish and write another album, get another album. I have 4 original albums, 2 traditional albums, and a couple of compilation albums I'm on. So I see another one in my future.
Well, I'm going to throw it out there right now. I would love to record at least one song with you in the future and do harmonies.
I love to harmonize.
I think
I've been
our
harmonized since I was
great.
7 years old. Yeah, I love to harmonize.
I think our voices would sound really
Have
good.
you listened to Fairy's Love Song with me and Jenna Green? Oh, please
Not
do.
Yet.
Oh,
I will.
You want to talk harmonies? It's like peas and carrots. I'm telling you.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
All right. Do we have any questions from our viewers? Oh, I got to bring Galena on to ask that question, don't I?
There she is.
Hey, Galena, do we have any questions from our viewers?
No, I guess people are shy today.
People are shy today. Well, that's okay. But hopefully they've clicked that karma button. Give that like button a high five and subscribe and tap the bell for a better chance at winning the Arcane Treasures giveaway, which is coming right up. And be a helper and share the show with your like-minded friends and on your socials. And that'll get you major karma points. Hey, Kellianna, it's been such a pleasure having you with us today. But
Likewise.
Don't go too far. We're not done yet. We'll
Okay.
bring you back for more excitement after this short break.
Are you ready to elevate your brand and connect with a dynamic and growing community? We invite pagan-minded businesses and services to sponsor our live YouTube show, where your brand can shine. Visit alexianmusic.com/sponsor to explore this exciting opportunity. Imagine your logo taking center stage, just like our other esteemed sponsors. Join us in celebrating our shared passions and reach a dedicated audience. We can't wait to welcome you on board. Our sponsors for today's show are Today's Witch Magazine, brought to you by Covered Bridge Press, LLC. Imagine a world where every month you're greeted with a 50-page print magazine packed with high-quality graphics specifically tailored for the pagan community. Today's Witch Magazine is your gateway to a universe of insights, inspiration, and enlightenment. Whether you're a seasoned practitioner or just beginning your journey, this magazine supports all pagan traditions and levels of experience. Each issue is a treasure trove of interviews with luminaries like Oberon Zell, educational materials, and thought-provoking articles. Subscribers rave about the knowledge they gain and the vibrant community they join. But the magic doesn't stop there. Other publications include their Travel Guide for Pagans, featuring over 309 stores across the states, updated yearly to keep your spiritual travels seamless. And for those who love a mental challenge, their Pagan Puzzle Book offers 63 engaging puzzles and 13 coloring pages, perfect as an educational tool or just for fun. Today's Witch Magazine invites you to become part of this growing community. With affordable advertising options, you can share your event or business with a vibrant audience. Their commitment to ethical values and fact-checking ensures you're getting quality content every time. So, what are you waiting for? Visit todayswitch.net now to subscribe and explore advertising opportunities. Let today's Witch magazine be your monthly companion in the magical world of paganism. Have you heard of paganmusic.com? It's a site run by Alexian and his husband Victor, who have been championing pagan music for over 30 years. They founded Earth Tone Studios in 1993 and took their support online in 1997 at paganmusic.com. They're now liquidating their stock, and some items have turned into rare collector's pieces. After the liquidation, they plan to evolve paganmusic.com into a resource hub, continuing their dedication to all pagan recording artists. Today, paganmusic.com is excited to donate a $25 cart checkout coupon for the Arcane Treasures giveaway at the end of the show. We hope it brings the winner some joyous pagan shopping. Today's show is also proudly sponsored by Alexian's official website as pagan recording artist, alexianmusic.com, where you can explore a world of pagan music and artistry. At alexianmusic.com, you'll discover a treasure trove of resources, including music recordings, online courses, as well as the Cool Cats community. Join him for bonfire bardic circles, magical spells, recipes, rituals, daily tarot videos, spiritual discussions, pentacle parties, songwriting classes, book swaps, meditations, and so much more. Be part of the fun and enrich your spiritual journey. Today, Alexian is offering a complimentary Rooted Kitten ongoing membership to the Coven of Cool Cats in the giveaway. This $4 per month membership grants you access to his vibrant and growing community. Alexian is also including a limited edition Alexian Show fridge magnet up for grabs during the Arcane Treasures giveaway at the end of the show. Don't miss your chance to snag this unique collectible and be part of the Alexian adventure. Our sponsors funded today's show, covering equipment, streaming software, and staff. Please support them as they support us. And now let's get back to the show.
Okay, Kellianna, it's time to have a little fun.
Sorry, I was answering. Anaya asked a question about writer's block. Can I just say something really
Nice.
quick?
Yeah.
So Anaya, I have a really hard time with writer's block, pushing through. I don't do well with pushing through. And most of the time, the reason the writer's block comes is from my own insecurities, just being insecure about writing or finishing something. So I don't have a tried and true thing. Like, obviously, Freya took me 2.5 years to write, so I didn't push very well through writer's block. I don't have a good answer for you. If you have a good answer for me, I'd love to hear it.
Well, I have a little bit of an answer. I studied songwriting at Berklee College of Music in Boston, and it was one of my 3 majors. And we were taught tools, so different tools to get you unblocked. So I would love to share those tools with you if you want sometime, because
I would love to hear that.
Yeah. They don't always work, but they do most of the time keep you unblocked and keep you moving forward.
It is 100% insecurity for me, really.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to just do it.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
You just have to do. You have to, as I always say, take the first step.
Yeah.
Let's just start it. Once you get
Even just
started,
journaling, maybe even journaling would help. To push through.
That's one of the tools.
Yeah.
One of the tools is write in a songwriting free. It's a free writing. I'll give this away now. So free write 10 minutes a day, every day. Okay. And try to do it at the same time of day, whatever is the best time for you creatively. And you literally have no plan in advance. You just sit down and whatever pops into your head, you start writing it. You're not writing a song. You're writing about your day. You're writing about what you're looking out the window. You're writing about fantasy of a movie. You're writing about this. You're writing about that. And when the timer goes off, because you set a timer, when the timer goes off after 10 minutes, you are not allowed to even finish writing the word that you started to type. And I do recommend using like Google Docs or something and using one document, just one. document and then date it like day after day after day in the same exact journal document. And then what happens is, because the bell goes off, it kind of trains you to go deeper faster, if that makes sense, so that you can get to the good stuff at the
We
bottom.
did exactly that in our creative writing class. Every single beginning of every class was 10 minutes of writing. Exactly that. Yeah.
It's a tried and true.
Yeah.
Tried and true. And then, but the added benefit of making it a Google document, that's one document, is it's searchable.
Yeah.
So let's say one day you're looking out the window and you see a bluebird, and you write something to the effect of, that bluebird out the window is singing, but he's alone, so he must be singing for his lost love, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
All right. So then 5 years into the future, you're writing like a love song or a heartbreak song, and you write something about feeling blue, and you go to your journal and you type in blue, and guess what pops up?
It comes up. That's
the
great.
Bluebird, heartbroken bluebird singing for his love. What a visual that you can then take and stick into your song, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you wrote it.
That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So that's one of the tools. So anyway, inspiration is wonderful, and it's usually ours, especially being magical and working with the energies. But sometimes it's just not there. And so when you have these tools, it allows you to kind of chisel forward. And once you get that momentum, then it takes off. My big holdback is this.
Time.
I never have enough time because I'm so busy.
Yeah.
Aries. Need I say more?
Yeah.
I'm too many irons in the fire. Yeah. Let's play this game. Okay.
All right.
So this is the way this is going to work. You're going to write down, you're going to jot down simple answers, and your simple answers will then be, you will have a chance to expound upon them by talking. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we don't want that. We want this. First question. If you could trade places with a fictional character for a day, who would it be and why?
Amelia Earhart.
Write it down. If you could trade places with any fictional character for a day, who would it be and why? Second question. What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done? What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done? Okay, third question. What's the most memorable prank that you've pulled on someone, or has been a part of that's been pulled on you? What's the most memorable prank you've ever pulled or been a part of?
Okay.
All right. Time's up. Kellianna, if you could trade places with any fictional character for a day, who would it be and why?
Amelia Earhart, because she's like my hero, because she was so brave and so bold and so ahead of her time, and I just admire her. I don't want to be I don't want to trade places on the day she crashed her plane, but I would like to trade places with her before that.
Everything before.
Yeah, exactly.
Number 2, what's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Set out time after time, all by myself with a guitar and touring the world.
Number 3, what's the most memorable prank you've ever pulled or been a part of?
One April Fool's, I posted on Facebook that I was going to change careers and stop being a musician, and that I was going to go work for Wet n Wild, naming the nail polish colors. And people thought for real that I was leaving music. So,
They must have been freaking out.
They were freaking out. I'm like, wouldn't that be great? Maiden's First Blush, or Brazen Hussy. I was like, wanted to name the nail polish, but yeah, people were freaking out. Really thought I was leaving music to name the nail polish colors for Wet n Wild.
I never one was to pull pranks, but I got a little ornery when I got away from home and went to Boston. In my first year in college, I had, well, back up. In high school, I had done the sun in and
Yeah.
bleached my
Yeah.
hair platinum blonde.
Yeah.
Well, I had one set of senior photos taken with platinum blonde, sun in hair next to a grand piano in a suit. And then later, I had redone my photos after it had grown out. And they were more like, the letter jacket with all of the choir and drama and
Yeah.
band award medals and stuff like that. So when I went to college, I had this photo book I took with me. And in fact, Draken was in the photo book because she went to high school with me. But I had this, of all my friends from back home. And one of my new friends at college found the photo book and was flipping through it and saw the picture of me with the platinum blonde hair. And they're like, who is this? Is this you? And I go, without thinking, I just said, oh no, that's my twin brother. They're like, you have a twin brother? And I'm like, yeah, I do.
Oh, that's so funny.
And they're like, oh my God, what's his name? And I said some name, I don't even remember. And then they were like, and he's into music too? And I said, yeah, he went to Juilliard, but I came to Berkeley because I was like, more modern music, and I had them going for 3 months.
Oh my goodness. Were they still pissed when you told them the truth? Were they pissed?
They were like, oh my God. And they were hitting my arm and they were like, you had us going, and
I love it.
But we still talk about that to this day. But I actually did.
That's great.
It was a 3 long month.
I couldn't pull it off. I'd have to spill the tea. I just can't do it.
All right. So before we do the giveaway and end the show, the viewers and I want to know about the teaser at the beginning of the show. And you kind of already answered it, but maybe you can elaborate on it some more. How did you get your pagan music streamed millions of times online? And when did you hit that first mill?
Oh boy, I think the first mill, I think I actually have a post from when it was, but I'm not sure.
It's a big deal. It's something to be celebrated.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the first mill, and it was just the first mill on YouTube, on iTunes. I don't even know when I hit like the first mill on YouTube, but I've hit probably over 3 million on YouTube. I mean, on iTunes at this point. Getting my music out there. I did. I brought it out there. I brought it out to the world. I brought it to Glastonbury, where other people brought it to their communities around the world. And it just has feet. The music has feet. It's just traveling and traveling in spite of me sometimes, I think. I timed it really right. When I got into pagan music, it was the perfect time because pagan music had the reputation of being really bad.
D minor.
Yeah, really like dirgy and like depressing and just bad. And then came in me and people like S.J. Tucker and Wendy Rule and Celia Fair, and just like we all kind of hit at a really similar time. And I think it just elevated what was being done with pagan music. I'm just raw and real. I was always a rocker. I'm a total Zeppelin head all the way, and I just took my kind of powerful kind of driving vocals into that pagan music. And I just, the music has feet, but I had to get it out there, and I did that. Like I said, 13 countries, 3 continents. I traveled a lot of ground to get the music out there. And then it just became a staple in the, global pagan, circuit. It surprises me. Even just saying it to you now, it's shocking.
And
like,
how does that feel? How does that feel?
It feels so weird. It's like, oh my God, how did that even happen? You know what I'm saying? It's like my mother was in Florida, and she was at not like a yard sale, but a little some sort of fair that they had on the weekends or whatever. And there was a girl over there with a table that had pagan stuff. And my mother said, oh, my daughter does pagan music. And the girl goes, who's your daughter? And she said, Kellianna. And the girl screamed in my mother's face. It's like, no, just like lost her mind, So it's just, I'm so grateful, and I'm so astounded and astonished by it all the time. But the music it speaks to everybody, because if you're on this path, then I think it's just powerful. And a lot of my music was written for healing, so different people find healing properties from different songs, and I'll be forever grateful that it got as far as it did. I always knew what I was capable of, and it went beyond what I thought, really.
The blessing, there's nothing more of a blessing than hearing back from people that your music healed them in some way. And I've had so many stories told to me as well. And that is like the biggest compliment to us, I'm sure, that you could give us is we helped heal you, because that's music, and a lot of times, again, like you've said, it comes through us. It's not us.
You're like a channel.
We're just the instrument.
Yeah, we're an instrument, definitely. Yeah, I've been played by many a song. Yeah. For sure.
I've been played by many a god.
That too.
Yeah.
True enough.
All right, you patient viewers out there, the moment has finally arrived. It is time. I'm activating it now. It is time for the Arcane Treasures giveaway. But before we draw, it's your last chance for karma points. Spank that like button, subscribe, and poke the bell. You never know, it might help. Okay. So I'm going to bring on Kellianna here. We are going to begin the drawing now. When the 1 minute is up, then I'm going to hit the button. Now, in order to enter the contest, what you're going to do, for those who are watching live, is you're going to type #walk, the word walk, as in I walk with the goddess. You're going to type #walk into the YouTube comments now. You have 1 minute to do so. Someone is about to win a I Walk with the Goddess digital album download.
Dale, you already have that album.
They will also get the $25 coupon for joyous shopping at paganmusic.com. They will also win a free ongoing membership to my Cool Cats community on my website. You will also receive, I have one here, one of the Alexian Show fridge magnets. And all you have to do to enter is just type the word #walk into the chat. We have 5 people watching and only 1 person has entered. Whoever types that in, you're a sure win unless somebody else types #walk into the YouTube comments now. You have 3 seconds. Time's up.
I know Dale already has that album.
This is an interesting situation. This has never happened. I need somebody else to enter because it's not letting me draw.
And I'm saying Dale already has the album. I knew he does.
You have to have at least 2 people to pick between the 2. Huh? Oh my goodness. So
it'll be a
Kellianna,
gift.
it's up to you. Who typed #walk into the comments?
Dale.
It was Dale.
Mm-hmm.
Dale
Walters.
You are our winner.
I said Dale has it. He says it's going to be a gift, he said. I'm like, oh, okay.
This is so funny. Oh my goodness. All right. So going on. That's interesting. I'll have to check into that. Congratulations, Dale, for winning the 9th Arcane Treasures giveaway. Directly at lordalexian@gmail.com to claim your treasures. That's lordalexian@gmail.com to claim your treasures. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, both you, Kellianna, and my sponsors today with todayswitch.net for joining us and making this show special. If you haven't seen our previous episodes, they are available for replay, so check them out. Draken and I will be back next month with the Crow Women. Have a wonderful, fabulous day, and we'll see you next month.
It
Boss
was
blessings.
fun. Thank you.